exciting podcast, the One Lap Down MX podcast. We're going to do things a little different tonight. We're actually going to have a call-in show. Super excited about that. We're going to talk super motocross, maybe a little world supercross. I know it's a lot of confusion. A lot of people are thinking they might be the same thing. So we're going to kind of dive into that. We got a new schedule out for everything, supercross, motocross, and then tying it in. They haven't announced the first two rounds of the playoff scenario, but they're going back to the LA Coliseum for the last round. But before we get into all that, I'd like to pass it over to Jesse. He's going to talk to you about our sponsors, and we've also got a winner for the Dirt Lab Concepts graphic giveaway. Hey, Jesse.
What's up, guys? Real quick, let's start off with Shane Jewell, of course, Optimum Power Sports. My guy Phillip Dollar at Dollar Cycles, Cowtown Promotions, and then our good buddy Trevor Dunn over at Dirt Lab Concepts Graphics, which also you can still use the promo code One Lap Down to get 15% off on your graphics. So before we get going, yes, I'm going to announce the winner for the free graphic giveaway, and I think you know him, Shane. Travis Brazier. Did I say that correct?
Yep.
Travis Brazier, you are our winner for a free set of Dirt Lab Concepts graphics. So I will message him either later tonight or first thing in the morning. Let him know he's the winner. He'll get hooked up with Trevor, and they'll just have a field day with it.
So he knows Trevor, so he's good. Hey, quick thing before we get into our first caller. I want to give a shout out to some guys that got their jersey over to me this week. As you see here, I haven't set up the whole wall monument yet. I've got quite a few jerseys in now, but I want to give a quick shout out to a couple of the guys for sure. Nathan Calloway actually hooked us up with a couple of jerseys. He sent us two. That was pretty awesome of him. Local Ripper. Shredder, you don't see him out as much anymore as he used to, but he comes out every now and then. Still can throw down for sure. Super Mini Ripper, little Dayton Lowry out there, hooking us up with a jersey. Another little, well, I guess he's not little so much anymore. He'll be going to the 85 full time, I believe, this next year. Colin Holbrook. And I want to give a special shout out. I know y'all seen him on Facebook, probably most likely. Most of you follow me on Facebook, but I was kind of shocked when I opened this envelope. Jarrett Tincher from West Virginia, kids in 54-6. He sent me his Loretta's bib. Like, I'm sure this is probably his extra one. It's probably not the one he wore, but I mean,
that's pretty insane for somebody sending you their Loretta's bib. I mean, that's I'll be honest, I couldn't do it.
The real deal. He's the real deal, dude. Like, he sent me a sticker too. I meant to bring it up here, but I mean, this is like life-changing stuff for a lot of people.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
He was able to donate this to the podcast, and we appreciate him. Tincher family, love them all. They're great people. I want to thank them for their donation to us.
Yeah, and real quick before we really get deep off into it, I have finally been receiving some feedback, good and bad, and I just want to say I appreciate both. So our next step with this podcast, because this has been one of the main feedbacks I've been getting, we are trying to get up and going on Spotify next. That's our next platform that we're going to try to get out to. The YouTube thing, obviously, we still got to use it and need it, and I do know that it's a little bit of a pain to use and listen to. I know a lot of people have told me that they like to just click on Spotify, hit play, and then throw their phone in the cup holder and hook it to the radio and listen driving down the road. Or if they're like, I've actually had a couple of guys tell me that they like to listen to us while they're cutting grass, and with the YouTube app or YouTube, you have to keep it open. And so it's constantly bouncing around their pockets and stuff. So we appreciate everything so far. I really like the giveaways we've been able to do, special guests that we've had with Casey and the others. And this is our first, like Shane said, call-in show. So I'm pretty stoked about this too, because we're really trying to get this thing going and rolling. And so, our next platform we're going to be reaching out to or trying to get onto is Spotify, try to make it a little easier for everybody.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm going to I'm gonna give a shout out to all the guys that have helped us with this. I mean, getting special guests on, and some of the guys, of course, are local guys, so we can know them. But going out and get Casey. Hey, and Casey's not our only big one. We're gonna have more.
Oh, we're reaching for
more
the top. We're reaching.
Yeah,
for
yeah.
the top.
We got more. I know. I spoke with Mike Burkeen. He's the AMA official, head AMA official, I believe is what his title is. I want to get him on for sure. I want to dive into some rules with him for sure. But hey, without further ado, let's take some calls. If we can get a few of them in, and we can stay on as long as we want to with each caller, and I'm cool with that. Of course, if you're going to call in or whatever, you got to reach on to Jesse's line. He's got a mic where he can.
I got all the updated equipment, new laptop,
yeah, no, all the updated equipment,
camera.
Yeah,
I went. Hey,
I'm lagging a little behind.
I'm
lagging a little behind in that department. Yeah, it looks good. Looks good. Yeah, you finally not lagging near as bad. Whoops, I'm knocking the daggone computer off. So
yeah,
my wife actually said she was going to call on. She was going to call on and aggravate me or whatever, and I kind of hope she don't. So without further ado, Jesse, if you want to take if we got our caller on the line there.
Yeah, I got our first caller, Colton Ray. Can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can.
I got you. I got you, boo. You got me?
I got you, baby. Sweet.
All right.
Go tonight. Let's go.
First caller. That's what I'm talking about.
Sweet. All right. Well, how are you guys?
Right, we're here.
We're doing good, buddy.
I want to ask real quick just to get started, Colton. What have you give us some feedback? What have you thought about this local podcast that your two favorite local heroes have started?
It is awesome. It is awesome. It's cool to have something to listen to, on the weeks. I'm sitting here studying 24/7, so sometimes I'll be sitting here studying like some physiology like I'm taking right now in PT school. I'll just turn on the podcast and listen while I'm watching lectures, probably get distracted a little bit, but it's cool to hear. It's cool to hear, people that I know talk and kind of have the same opinions as me. So it's been cool so far. The first, is this episode 5, 6?
So this is lap 6.
Yep,
lap 6, yeah.
It's going good. All 5 of them. I listened to all 5. All 5 was good. The worst one was definitely Jordan. No, I'm just kidding. Trevor did good. Trevor did good. Everybody was really cool. Casey's was awesome. Casey's a super cool kid.
Yeah, for sure.
Every time I've been around him, and you would think now that he's how big he is now, a lot of people, they get big, kind of head gets big and think they're too good for us local guys, but he was awesome. He was super humble on the podcast. It was awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. Well, we appreciate you calling, Colton.
So my first question for you guys.
His first question
is, if you could bring back one track, like in Alabama, just like closed down now, what track would it be? Jesse, you can't say corner. That would be Miami. Had to pick somewhere else.
I'm not going to use my own track. I promise. So it was such a love-hate relationship with my track.
I feel you. 100%.
It was like one of the best, worst days when Dad closed it down.
Yeah, I feel that.
I think hard on this one.
Let's see, Alabama, right? Local Alabama.
Yeah, I mean, you could do you could do anywhere really local. I mean, you could do Tennessee.
I got one.
Go ahead.
All right, and I'm going to say this, and I'm probably going to piss some people off, and I don't even care. But let's bring Mill Creek under new ownership back.
I agree.
I mean, if there was, I just, and I'm not going to throw them under the bus or whatever, but I felt like, we ran an area qualifier there under the lights, for God's sakes, one time. Like, it was just stupid stuff like that. But I think as far as a national caliber track that actually could have been, I say could have been something special. Maybe, and in its prime, I felt like maybe it was special, but like I feel like Mill Creek would be it for me under new guidance, maybe.
Yeah.
That's not a terrible thought, actually. I mean, that's. Yeah, I mean, I could say
I'm trying to think like Kirkpatrick. I went there once, I think, and Chandler Mountain never been there. Kilpatrick, that's what I meant. Whatever it was.
So that was my very first race ever. Was there?
That was before my time.
And I got landed on second lap of practice, and it almost ended my career as soon as it began. But see if I could bring one track back. I know I'm going to say Chandler Mountain is definitely one of them.
Yeah, I never got to ride there either. I heard great things about that place.
Oh my God, it
Never
was
went
good.
there either.
And a lot of people probably disagree with me on this, but I had kind of the same love-hate relationship. Deer Run, but I liked Deer Run, but I had some
practice when it was muddy.
Oh, dude. But I had some awful luck there. Now, I will tell you one track that I definitely would bring back tomorrow, right then and there, no hesitation. One of my all-time favorite tracks, Cadillac Ranch, Donnie Dearman.
Cadillac was awesome. That was
loved. Dude, I had some of my best races there. The dirt was good. The jumps everything flowed. Donnie done a great job running the races over there.
Yeah,
that's probably one of the tracks I miss the most. Is Cadillac. Man, it was. You can make it difficult and you can keep it simple. I mean, it was just one of those good flowing tracks. And my favorite part was when the finish line was like an 80-foot tabletop.
That thing was huge,
and it had like a 40-foot tall face. But the way the grade of it was, you just kind of floated. And as soon as you landed, the whole first turn by the starting gate is like 400-yard left-hand turn. You never let off.
I remember the first time I ever went there. I mean, obviously I was young. Like I was on 65. I don't think my wheels left the ground. I was so slow back then. But I remember.
Hey, nothing's changed.
He was on a YZ 252 stroke, like a 2005, and he would scrub the finish line, like the absolute, like almost upside down. Yep. It was incredible. He would land and he would not let up all from the time he landed the finish line all the way through the start, left-handed sweeper, first turn. He would not let up till he got to the rhythm section right there.
I remember
after
that.
the second turn, and it was insane.
Because I tried,
like it was yesterday.
I tried to copy him on a 450, and Donnie had hay bales that lined out the first turn on the outside.
Yeah.
I met a couple of those.
I'm pretty sure I was there when they did that. I'm pretty sure I was there, but yeah, Cadillac. If I had answered my own question, Cadillac was awesome. Deer Run was so sweet. I love Deer Run. Obviously, corner. I didn't have the best luck at corner.
I didn't either.
I guess I had good results there. I just got hurt there a couple times, and vivid memory of corner. Me and Jordan used to battle back in the day on 85s before he got like super fast, and I stayed the same speed. But I led every lap on him, and I won the first moto. So we were sitting with the one going into the second moto. It was the second moto of the day. And we were late in the day, too. This is one of the last motos. And right before you come back by the start, and there's that little rhythm section there, that left-handed sweeper, it was really rough. And there was a lapper in front of me. And I went inside all day long. And I didn't even know there was an outside line. So I followed the lapper. And he, literally came to a stop in that inside, line there. And Jordan went around the outside of me last lap, 100 yards from the finish line, past me. And so, that is, my vivid memory of corner now. And it makes me sick every time I think of it. But I do miss that track so much.
I want to ask all three of us this question. I've actually been thinking about this question the last few episodes, and I feel like this would be a good one to kick it off with. If you had to pick one, for me, it's going to be tough for me to pick one. So I'm going to give myself two. I'll give y'all two. Who would be y'all's hardest, or let's see, who would be y'all's biggest rival or rivals growing up racing? Local, like the guys that you showed up to Corner or to Mill Creek or whatever, and he won, you won. He won, you won. Blah blah blah. Who would be y'all's rivals?
Definitely. So my age group, because I was I'm a year younger than Jordan, which we still race. Every other year we'd be in the same class. We would race junior mini or whatever it was called together. So Jordan, I wouldn't consider Jordan a rival though. He probably beat me a little more than I beat him on 85s. Obviously, once we got super minis, he beat me basically. From then on out, beat me basically every weekend unless he fell. But I would say Gage Dagnan and probably Josh Bug. Me and Josh Bug went to the same school. We grew up both from Gunnersville. So we were good friends, hung out all the time. But whenever we got to the track, we hated each other. It was bragging rights all week. The next week at school, people would come up, who won?
Right.
So he was definitely my number one rival, I'd say, growing up. He's that dude is so talented on dirt bike. He hasn't rode in He hasn't rode in a while, probably like years, and he could show up this weekend somewhere, and he would have he's tremendous style.
I've always liked Josh's style, especially after he got on big bikes.
But once he got on big bikes,
when he got on big bikes, he formed a unique riding style, and he was very smooth and fluent. I really did like watching him ride. What about you, Shane?
Gage was always he was definitely better than me. I got a couple of championships on him, like Alabama Series championships on him, because most of the time it would be because I got lucky and he missed a couple rounds because he was hurt or something like that, and I'd be there for all of them. So I really couldn't even consider him a rival because he beat me way more than I beat him. But those are my two.
I'm actually having a hard time with this because I raced in Tennessee. I raced in Tennessee more than I did Alabama growing up.
Did you have a local Tennessee guy you rivaled?
Yeah. I mean, like, here's the thing that most people don't understand about like growing up riding. For me, I was kind of the young guy. Like, I came in well younger than everybody else when we was riding A class, local A class. I was 16 years old, like, and all these other guys were like 20. So like, it was kind of hard for me. It took me a little while to get up to that speed, to understand, kind of the difference between, riding, because I jumped off an 85, went straight to 125, rode 1 year of, local B class, and I went straight to local AE class or whatever. So probably I would say Cole Self. He's
Cole. Me and him's raced a lot together.
Yeah. He's about 4 years older than me. But I would say he was there was a lot of love-hate there. Like, we got along very well. Now off the track. Now on the track it was a different story. Like, there was some heated battles, there was some words said here and there. But at the end of the day, I think him, of course, like Matt Griggs was another one that was.
I got a funny story on Matt.
I mean, there's a couple. I mean, it's hard to, he's talking about like Josh Bugg or whatever. Like Jake Butler and we live in the same county or whatever. And it was kind of weird. Like, I was fast when he was playing football, and I had done quit riding when he was getting faster. So it was like we missed each other. It was like, there was a lot of, when he was racing, he was committed 95% to football when I was beating him all the time. So, and then I quit before, like, it might have been a different story if he was committed, if he had been committed from day one, like I was, and he didn't play football, at the speed he got later in life, if he would have got it earlier, or if I'd have stayed racing, and I would have liked to have seen, him and I race later on, in that, everybody hits that prime at about 20 to 24 or so. I would have liked to have seen us race at that age if we had, if I'd have never stopped and he would have continued instead of, racing or racing part-time, that's to me where I was riding all the time. So those are probably my few, I guess, if you want to call them rivals.
See, back in the 85 days, one of my rivals was, his name was Jacob Holzenbeck.
Jacob lives the town right next to me.
So Jacob?
Away. Oh, yeah.
So me and him, we battled all through 85, 7, 11, and 12, 13. I would say me and him were the most back and forth. And then when we got on big bikes, he kind of faded away a little bit. My C-class rival would have been Jake Meadows' brother, Wade. I don't know if you remember him, Colton.
Oh, yeah.
The Meadows. So me and Jake were big buddies, and me and his brother were big buddies, but me and his brother battled a lot. And then my A-class rival for the most of my A-class career was Jake Butler. Me and him, we trade. Now, I grew up racing against Dove and Ward and Ashke and all them, John Boy and all, but they never was a real rival to me because half the time they were not there or half tracking me, whatever. But me and Jake, we've had some, I'm talking about trading paint races, come off the track, high five.
And good races over the years.
We did. I ain't going to lie. The first time I met him was at Hawk Pride. And I want to say, no, not bragging, I want to say I beat him the first moto and he beat me the second. And then I didn't see him again for like another year. And then he just started showing up local. And next thing I know, we're banging bars, and he's staying a night with me at the house for the races and stuff. But yeah, me and Jake had some great battles. He was real fun to race with, real clean. But I talked to him last week, and I told him I was going to call him out and tell this story. Coleman Arena Cross, I forget the exact year. I want to say probably like 2011, 12, somewhere around there, 10. We probably had 10 or 11 guys in A class, and we all 10 rode both Open A1 and 2. And in the Open A1 qualifier, this dude on a Cowie took Jake out. So we come in for the Open A2 qualifier, come off the start, coming to the second turn. He thought I was that guy and cleaned my clock, knocked me over the berm, broke my lever. Like, I'm talking about, he straight up T-boned me. And I get up and I turn and I look and I see it's him on the ground. I said, "What the hell are you doing?" He's like, "My bad, man. I thought you was the other guy." So, yeah. But
yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't seem like, I mean, it definitely seems like a long time ago, but it's crazy to think how long ago it really was. Like,
oh, yeah.
We're sitting there every single, I mean, gosh, like there's like 28 rounds of outdoors, and then another 15 or so of indoors. I mean, you're 50 or 40 out of the 52 weeks of the year. You know, we're all same place every weekend. Those are the good times for sure. But
well, Shane, you got anything else for Colton, or Colton, you got any more?
Yeah, I do have one question for Colton. What are your parents thinking, and how do we change their mind?
Dude, I don't know, man. I've been so short with my parents ever since they listed the house. For those of you that don't know, or maybe, I mean, some of you probably don't know me because I'm kind of distant from Alabama Motocross recently because of school. But my parents own RPF, Ray Practice Facility. They bought it a few years ago. I built the track, gave me free reign. Mom and Dad built their house there and everything. But I don't know, a month or two ago, Dad called me. He's like, "Hey, I'm going to put the house on the market. I've just got it appraised, and I can make so much money off of it." So, I don't know. I think with me moving out, you know, I'm in Birmingham. Well, I was in Tuscaloosa for a couple of years at University of Alabama. Now I'm at Stanford in physical therapy school. I think Mom and Dad, it's just a lot of work. 30 acres is hard to keep up with. Track is hard to run. I know, Desi, you know how it is. But it's not like we were having races or anything. I mean, just practices here and there. But it was just getting really good. Like, we had an open practice a couple months ago. Had like 33 entries, and it was super late notice. Super fun day. Track was awesome. Just great feedback. So I'm trying to.
I almost died once.
So far, there's been kind of no hits on it recently, or like no hits at all. Okay, just lower the price a little bit. So if you're interested in owning a motocross track, I guess you can hit them up. Check me out on Facebook, Colton
Don't
Ray.
do that.
But
don't do that at all. No, please don't buy. It's a beautiful place. I love it. I almost died there last time we rode. I've almost died there a few times actually, but it's probably barring the major, you know, like the monsters or whatever, it's probably one of my favorite tracks. It is my hands down private favorite track to ride. I really enjoyed the work that was put in there, different soil compositions that, you know, the track, different challenges. I honestly, I hate to see it go. Hope it doesn't go. Lisa, Kevin, get your shit together. Take that damn thing off the market.
Yeah, for real.
And,
I mean, it's my track, but I will say that, like, I mean, y'all, most of y'all know me. I've been all over the country racing. Raced Loretta's a couple times. Like, I mean, shoot, me and Shane went to Washougal to race, and so I mean, I've been to multiple tracks, numerous times, huge tracks, and I will say honestly, my track is one of my favorite tracks I've ever ridden. So, literally, I was straight up depressed the first couple nights after they listed it, but I've kind of calmed down. But if they call me tomorrow and say that somebody's going to look at it this weekend, I may pull the Step Brothers thing where they, you know, like the They show up, or they're just listing the house and like act like there's like dead bodies in the house and all that stuff. And they have to pull that off.
Act like a Nazi neighbor.
Yeah.
Hey, Colton. Hey, Colton.
I'm gonna pull something like that off if I have to make sure RPF stays afloat. But no matter what is in the future for RPF, I will be having a prep practice soon. So I don't know when that'll be. Hopefully in the next month or so, when school calms down a little bit. But you can follow the page at RPF Moto on Instagram. You can follow me on Instagram, whatever, Colton Ray. I think my Instagram's at Colton_Ray414. We'll post updates and stuff on there. But hopefully gonna have a practice or two before then, before it sells, or if it ever does sell, who knows. But
hey, Colton.
I'll let you. I know
Can you hear me?
You guys got some more callers coming in, so
hang on. I got
one question.
One more for
I got
you.
one question, Colton.
Okay.
I want you to tell the viewers one crazy story about our Washougal trip before we let you go.
One crazy story.
One crazy story that you're allowed to tell.
Gosh.
How many are there to tell?
There's a lot of stories to tell on that trip. I mean, 38 hours in a car ride there, 38 back with change oil.
All right, so give us the most PG-13 version then, or PG-13 story.
I mean, I guess I'll tell the funny story that I can actually tell in here is we're definitely in Wyoming, and Dylan Gatlin is driving, and Shane and Trevor in the backseat asleep. And in Alabama, there's no you don't have to wear a seatbelt in the backseat, whatever. Well, I'm chilling up front, and I've got my seatbelt on. I'm a good little boy in the front seat, and I'm kind of chilling. And literally, Dylan did nothing wrong. He wasn't speeding. But next thing we know, there's a cop behind us, and he was like, "Guys, I'm getting pulled over." So we pull over, and we haven't stopped at this point. We literally drove nonstop. The only time we stopped is gas, and we ate Logan's in St. Louis, Logan's Roadhouse. But anyways, so we're driving, get pulled over. Cop comes up. He told Dylan that he was weaving in and out of traffic, which is not accurate at all. He said we cut somebody off with a trailer or something like that. I don't know. But anyways, what's funny is he looks in the back seat, and Shane and Trevor are half asleep back there. And this cop, or this state trooper, literally gives Shane and Trevor a ticket for not wearing their seatbelts in the back seat of the truck.
We were asleep. He had to wake us up to give us our ticket.
That just, Dad. After we called Dad, told him that, and we were telling people, they're like, well, maybe that's not the only ticket you get this weekend. Maybe you get some tickets to Loretta's because it was a regional. We didn't even get close. So that was that was not a great weekend racing dirt bikes wise, but that was a sick trip. Washougal was awesome. It was a good time. But the other stories are not as PG-13, so if you want to hear those, not going to do those.
I'll hit you up separately on that.
All right, Colton, we appreciate you, man. Good having you on. Like I said, Ray Practice Facility, don't sell. Hopefully it don't sell ever, and we can continue to ride there for years to come. We appreciate you, Colton.
Oh, yeah, I appreciate you guys. Thank y'all.
See.
All right, see you, bud. Who we got on now? Phillip?
Let's see here. Phillip?
Yes.
What's up, man? How you doing?
How I'm doing?
Can you hear me?
Good. Yeah, I can hear you.
Can you hear Shane?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I can barely hear Shane.
All right, let's try this again.
All right, you got you now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, good deal. Good deal. So, Phillip, tell us who you are and what purchase has occurred here recently.
Well, I'm Phillip Miller. I am the new owner of what was formerly called NIMS, which is now MIMS or Miller Motorsports.
So I went from NIMS to MIMS.
Yes.
Cool.
NIMS to MIMS. All right. Well, what kind of changes and you got a race coming up, right?
Yes, we got a race coming up on the 15th of King of the Mountain. Currently, the biggest changes we're making is we're just fixing everything. We're trying to get the track hasn't really been tuned up, or it's kind of been let go for the last few years. So I've got some people that are Matthew Pettigo's running my bulldozer for me, and he's been doing a great job getting everything all shaped up and back to the way it should be.
Yeah.
Are you keeping the same layout for right now?
For right now, we are keeping the same layout.
Okay.
We're making some of the 40-foot wide straightaways narrower.
Right.
Making some of the jumps a little narrower because there's no sense in the table being 40 foot wide and you're only using 20 foot of the track.
Right.
Yeah, I agree with that for sure. Hey, Phillip, personal, one of my favorite tracks, I guess, if you want to call it that. I got my worst injury ever came there, but really love the dream tracks. I've never ridden the small track. I mean, when I go there, I really look to ride the little tracks. I just always ride the big track. Can you tell us a little bit about the prep work that goes into on the big track? Is there a way to slow that thing down a little bit, maybe with more ruts, or because that track is super fast?
Yeah, we've been thinking about it and seeing what we're going to do. We're eventually going to. I think we're going to change some of one of the roller sections. We're going to change to a rhythm section, and then one of them in the future I want to change into the one that's in the back when you first come across the bridge. I want to take it out and add like beach sand type roller section through there.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I open for suggestions on ways to slow it down, especially across the start straight. When I go into prepping it, I know I'm going to actually rip it where it hasn't been ripped in a long time, and should slow it down a lot or a little bit.
Yeah. So you're not going to use you're going to use the start as part of the track, or are you still going to come in like it normally does?
For the start, no, we're tilling the start, and we're going to come in like we normally do on the big track.
Okay, I got you. All right, got you. So the notorious grass start is
it's going to be no more. There's going to be no grass start. It's going to be tilled and prep like it should be.
All right, good deal. So oh shoot, phone went dead there for a second. Anyway, so you got plans to do any races on the night track? Are you looking into a series, or is there? I mean, I know you just took this thing over like literally a few days ago or whatever. Any future plans or open practices? Anything we should be aware of? I know winter coming up. A lot of us old guys like to ride when it's a little bit colder. It's a little bit easier on us. Any plans to be open, and are you partnering with anybody, any tracks or anything like that?
I've been in the talks with a few people. We had a joint series. They had a joint series this past summer with Ryan Hendricks at Hendricks compound. We plan to continue that on next year, and I've been talking with a couple other people about getting in either other series or just adding them to ours. And then as far as open practices, I plan to try to be open 2-ish weekends a month, possibly more. Also, weekday practices. I'll need some help, but once I get all that lined up, where I'll be open on Tuesday and Thursday evenings.
That'd be pretty cool.
On the big track, or?
Well, in the wintertime, I ain't going to be able to do it on the big track, but on the small track for sure. And then when it comes summertime, when it's light till 8 o'clock, then yeah, we'll do the big track. I won't necessarily get a full prep. I might just run the dew all over and water it for a Friday or a Tuesday or Thursday night. But just depends on how big the crowds get. If I start getting bigger crowds, I'll start prepping it more.
For sure. I know that place over the summertime we've got crazy amounts. So I think that you're on the right track for sure.
Yeah.
Lagging a little bit.
Yeah, that's all right. Mr. Phillip, where can people find out about you and reach out to you and stuff like that and keep up with you?
I've created a new Facebook page, Miller Motorsports. You can reach me on there. You can reach me on my personal Facebook page. Feel free to reach me at either one of those at any time.
Cool. Make sure you call before you haul, right?
Right. Correct.
Good deal. Well, Phillip, we appreciate you coming on and giving us a little information. I know a lot of our listeners liked going over there. You were the track was part of the King of the Mountain series before, and it was one of our it was one of my personal favorites on the schedule because I always I like the high speed stuff in a way, but maybe slow it down just just a tad. And I think the crowds are going to be really, really good out there, especially for practices. I know the race crowds haven't always been at that track for some odd reason, but I think if you get the practices big, I think the racing will soon follow, and whatnot. So we appreciate you coming on, man, and giving us a little highlight. And like I said, we'll also announce on there that you're a new track owner, and we'll try to get you some advertisement on there. Try to get some people out to your race. That's October 15th, right?
Correct. October 15th. Unfortunately, it's a Saturday race. Next races will be on Sunday races.
Okay. Yeah, I'm cool. I like Sunday races better, honestly. I like practicing on Saturday. That's just my personal take. But I'm gonna have to miss. I actually may have an opportunity to go to a Red Bull Straight Rhythm next Saturday, so we might be doing that. Hopefully, so I might miss this one, but I'll for sure be checking your place out and all the changes you've made. I think you're a guy that can make the right decisions, and I think you know what makes a good track. So like I said, you got a couple kids riding, so and yourself as well. So that kind of helps when you're owning a track sometimes to kind of know the conditions. And I'm sure you're the right man for the job.
Well, thank you.
All right, appreciate you, man. Thanks.
No problem.
See you, bud.
All right. So while we're waiting on this next guest to call in, and if I can get him on the line, we'll get him on. Want to talk to you quickly about the new schedule coming out. We got Nashville back. I know you're not really close to Nashville, but Atlanta's probably your closest one, right?
Be honest with you, they're about the same.
Really? I wasn't exactly sure.
I'm 2.5 hours from Atlanta, and I'm probably only 2 hours from Nashville. But our next caller's calling in now. Do you want to go ahead and go with it?
Oh yeah. Go ahead and get him on. Good luck.
Ladies and gentlemen, I apologize. This was all Shane's idea, not mine. So without further ado, let's welcome in Jacob.
What's going on, guys?
Infamous Jacob Caps.
Oh, Lord have mercy. This ought to get good.
Jacob, how you been?
Good, buddy. Good. Playing baseball, and
How's that going?
I love it.
I told you all that
Trevor's-
talk you used to do back about baseball, and here you are.
I know. It's crazy, man. But when you see a kid like for real excelling at something, you get into it, and
it helped with his hand-eye coordination too.
I never was into it as a child. I played. I had to play, and I was never good. And
imagine that.
Change you, I'll spank you any day.
Oh gosh, Lee, you'd be out of breath in a half a lap.
God,
so Jacob, we seen the infamous Facebook post last week. It's got taken down, thank God. But I don't even want to talk to you. I want to talk to you about your son. I'm super proud of him. Don't care nothing about talking to you, but I am super proud of Trevor Capps this year. He has come a long way, and as many people in Alabama know, Trevor and Brock, my son, are probably they keep each other honest throughout the whole racing thing. They're always battling, and I feel like Trevor's one of those kids that keeps Brock honest. He's one of those kids that makes Brock try his ass off every time he goes out there because he knows he's got to be at his best to even think about running with Trevor. Super proud of him. Loretta's, I know y'all had some bad luck one moto, but what did he end up, 7th?
Yeah, he finished it. He ended up 7th. We was leading the first moto, and then going into the sand section, and everybody has seen it. That watched. It was on. I think it was Racer X. Going into the sand section, there was a flagger in the main line of the sand section, and he was pointing. He pointed Trevor to go outside.
And so Trevor went outside, got in that deep stuff. I mean, Trevor had done gapped everybody. I mean, he was rolling, dude. And we lost, seven, eight positions right there.
At least, yeah.
That kind of set the tone for our week, though. But I'm super proud of how Trevor rode. You know, we're not a compound kid. He had just come off a broke leg, and then we had to go all the way to Oklahoma for area. Then we had to go to I think it was Echo Valley the next week to that area. Then we ended up having to go to Ohio, and it was a mud storm, and we were sitting strong there. And
didn't y'all have to hit y'all's qualifier and regional just within like a couple of weeks from each other?
Yeah.
Y'all didn't get that. Y'all didn't get that big break like everybody else got, right?
No.
Yeah.
No, we were back to back to back. Like, and after being off the bike so long, man, I could not be more proud of Trevor. And you know, like, I'm that crazy dad that hollers, screams, cusses, whatever. And
those dirt clods.
I cannot be more proud of my child the way he rode that race. I mean, just the whole qualifying process, he did really good.
Yeah, he did.
And it gave me a new light on it, you know, going back to baseball. We had an incident this past week at a game. A parent didn't like how the coaches were hollering at their child. And I'm just like, you holler at your child because you want your child to be the best that they can be. And that's why the coaches are hollering. That's why we holler. Now, you know, I'm the first to take it to the next level and cuss. That's my fault. That's something that I've been working on myself. I'm really proud of myself. I ain't cussed in baseball yet. But, and even last weekend racing at Red Dirt Road, I never cussed at Trevor. You know, and I'm working on
Jacob.
That's something that I'm working on as a parent.
Jacob.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Jacob. It's that new woman. She's got you on a short leash, so you ain't allowed to be doing that stuff no more.
Oh, I hope it's not a short lease because
leash.
Yeah. Even on that lease purchase program.
Yeah, nah.
But it's not even that. But she got on to Trevor this past weekend at Red Dirt Road herself because Trevor just wasn't pushing himself the way that Trevor needed. So going back, we went up to Tennessee last Friday, 2 Fridays ago, bought an FW for Trevor. All the way up to Memphis, then drove all the way back to Birmingham. And I had talked to Shane. Shane was like, well, these people are racing. So we went there. And, man, that kid never rode a FW for real. Besides that one time he rode jets on Arena Cross at Coleman when he was a super little bitty kid. Came out at this race and was lights out, like rode better than I've ever seen him ride. Turn around to this weekend, he just didn't have the drive and the aggression to want to go fast. Like, so you had Patrick Kirk and McGuire, and those guys, dude, they're on another level. Those kids are fast. They both age out this year. They're fast. Trevor had the whole shot almost every moto, but would let out the gas and let them go. And the whole first lap, he would just let them go, and then he'll start riding. But with all that being said, you know, we're still AMA 6. We have a long ways to go. We have a lot of getting comfortable, I guess you would call it.
Yeah. How's he liking the FWE?
Loves it. So back to that race, the first race he raced was on the way to the track. He says, Dad, I've never rode this motorcycle. I never really rode an FWE. I'm not going to be comfortable. I'm just not going to do good tonight. And I said, buddy, we're here to have fun. goes out there, first practice, comes back after hitting these 2 big doubles, comes back and he says, "Dad, that was the most fun I've had on dirt bike. I feel like I'm riding a PW again." I'm like, "Hey, stay with it," because for 3 weeks before that, we started riding a 65. And he had rode the 65, and then he gets back on that little FW, and he's like, "All right, Dad, this is where I need to be."
Yeah, I think he's going to be. I think he's going to be a little bit more at home on that 50 for. He's a big kid. He's a strong kid. I think he'll adjust pretty quickly to the 65. But I think if Loretta's is the big picture, I think for at least next year, I think the 50 would be his best route. For that, of course, I mean he's still young. Like I said, him and Brock are both AMA 6, so they're both already on riding the bigger bikes. So we're gonna be chasing y'all for a little bit, I think. Like I said, we finally started jumping today, so I feel like we'll be chasing y'all a little bit around for a little bit. And like I said, I really enjoy their friendship, their competitors and their friendship. We traveled to Swan MX together this year and raced regional. We stayed in the same hotel room, and the boys got really close then, and were able to we didn't get the results we wanted, but we had a good time together. And I think that going forward, those are going to be a friendship that's going to last a long time, and I'm very thankful for that, for sure.
For sure. Another thing I want to talk about, though,
Sure.
and I'm not going to call out anybody or any names or any tracks or anything, but I think one thing that needs to change in Alabama motocross is stacking classes. Okay?
Elaborate.
You can't put a 6 to 7 50 class with 65 7 to 9. And that got okay. But then you can't swap them and put the 6 to 7s that are on FWEs with the PWs.
I do agree with that. I don't like seeing senior bikes with P-dubs.
Where did that? I'm not going to ask that question. Never mind. I was going to ask where did this?
I know where he's talking about now. The
I do too.
7 class and the 65, 79. How many kids were in each class, Jacob?
There were probably 7 65s, and I think it was 3 6 to 7s.
That's that borderline where.
Yeah, but hold on a minute. 6 to 7 and 7 to 9, 50 and a 65 rider could ride the same class. Like a 7-year-old could ride 65, 7 to 9.
And I'm not the one that brought it up. Other people had brought it up, and then so they changed it, and they put the 6 to 7 with the PETA. I would have been okay riding with 7 to 9, in all honesty. Now the 2 other riders, no, and so that was the right choice. But then you also got to say, okay, we can't put these with the PWs and the girls, 50 girls or whatever, because, I mean, when you start lapping in the 50s and you got somebody that's jumping a FWE and you got these P-dubs that are not jumping, it makes for a dangerous. And it was dangerous on both sides of the equation. I think you should just split it up and make it just a class.
Yeah, I can agree. No P-dubs, man. P-dubs, any P-dub should be P-dubs only. I don't care if there's 2 of them. Make their own class. Even if you run them on a cut track or whatever.
You can't mix P-dubs. The only thing you can mix a P-dub with is if they're on an XR50 or something like that. But you don't. I do not like mixing. And I honestly, it didn't affect me up until 3 years ago when my own kids started racing. But the 50s are extremely hard to do any type of combo or anything like that. Now, if you got 2 P-dubs and 2 seniors, honest to God, you really ain't got no choice but to run them together, especially on an outdoor track. They get spread out. Not that dangerous. Yeah. Of course, indoor, that's where it gets a little tricky. But the combining classes is never not going to happen because you got, one.
Too many classes.
Yeah, well, I agree. There's too many classes, but at the same time, sometimes I think you're trying to accommodate for the ones that only have one class to ride, no matter what age or bike size. You know what I mean? So it's tough. I ain't gonna lie, but I agree with Jacob. There needs to be a lot better planning if you're going to combine classes too. I mean, you like the whole 57 to 8 and 60 or 56 to 7 and 65 to 7 9. Like Shane said, that kid could ride both bikes. That's 2 classes he could ride on 2 separate bikes, but now he can't.
Yeah.
But if you didn't have a kid register for both classes on 2 different bikes, then it doesn't matter.
Yeah, for sure.
Other than you're putting 50s and 65s out there together, which is nothing new, really.
Well,
listen. Hey, Brock rode the 50 class,
and this wouldn't even be a conversation, but it happened, and it needed to be addressed, I guess you would say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Jacob, can you hear me? Can you hear me, Jacob?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, so this came about the other night. Brock raced the 50 class raced the 65 class at the little fair race, and won. So the next night, Trevor races the 65 class on his 52 and goes out and wins it, right?
Correct.
Okay. Was there a little drama with that, or like, because I had one person say something to me?
All right, so
he's about to tell.
Go.
So first motos, there was no drama. Second moto rolls around, and we're on the gate, and there was a 65 class that had raced before we did. But there was a kid that's in the 65 class that's leading the points. And he got hurt. And I have not heard an update on this kid. And I've been looking and trying to find an update on this kid. But he was toted off. Shane Joe, I need you to find out about that. It's little Austin Hill. But once the parents had found out that Austin was down, this is what I gather out of them. Once they found out that Austin's done and Trevor's on the line with them, and they know they're not going to, I mean, anything can happen in a race, but Trevor was definitely faster than everybody on the 50, which in my mind, honestly, truly, we probably shouldn't have been in the 65 class on the 50 because we're probably faster than them, but
bunch of
it was Trevor's first time to ever ride.
We do it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if they allow you to do it, do it. That's more track time. That falls on the people running the track.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
That being said, he was standing there, the man that runs the race, runs this series, and he allowed them to pull their kids off the gate. And I was like, so I seen all this happening, and I go over there and I'm like, what's going on? And they're like, we're not going to race with Trevor. Why? Well, you're not a series racer, and we're racing for series points, and you're going to mess up our points. And at that point, I was like, look, y'all can have my trophy. If Trevor gets lucky enough to win, you can have our trophy. You can have our points. You don't even have to score us. We just want to ride with the best people that's here so that my kid can push himself. Yeah. And, oh, man, there were like 6, 7 dads drunk. Oh, they ready to fight. Thank God I wasn't drunk. Because we've been fighting. Just here, and better than anybody.
I'm sitting here thinking, thank God Jacob wasn't drunk either.
So
that bothered me, and it ended up being like a big old deal, man. Like big old deal. I was like, so my kid can go win this race. Right? If my kid goes race this race, can he come back and race with y'all? No, he cannot. Okay, well, it there's a lot more to the story, but
it's
bullcrap.
Yeah,
we go to race against the best. We want to race the best person that's there in our age class or that's older than us that we can competitively compete against versus racing 2 classes up and then getting hammered by AMA when we go try to race an AMA race or whatever. So and just like I told those people, I said, y'all have no idea about motocross. Because if you did, you wouldn't care about this. Because in all honesty, a local race is for your child to race with people that's better than him or her and get better. You want your child to get better every week. And you're not going to get better every week if you're out in front of everybody and you're just long gone.
Yeah.
You won't.
And that series is small.
Be there that's going to push you.
Yeah, that series is small. I'm not gonna bash their kids or anything like that, but those kids just don't have the tracks that we ride on. I feel like that they don't go to and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with racing, being a local racer or whatever. We ride on the tracks that are a lot rougher, and when we go to those things, and a lot of those kids might do something else. They might, we've talked about this before on this podcast that not every kid is dedicated to motocross or whatever. Anyway, the whole point being is that series, the 50 class is kind of more of a beginner friendly 50 class. So a more advanced rider, when they show up there, they're not getting anything really, especially like our kids they're 7 years old, they're AMA 6, so they're still technically can ride 4 to 6 class. But at that particular race series or whatever, it's kind of more of like a beginner type atmosphere. And so, I always bump Brock up, and I know I told you, I said, hey, you better put him in the 65 class or he's not going to have, like I said, and that's not a knock on anybody's child or anything. It's just it's more of a beginner friendly atmosphere.
So when y'all show up to this type of race and you register them in the 65 class on this 50, do they even, like, I'm not trying to ask this to be mean, do they even know what type of bike you're putting them on in that class? Are they aware they're on a 50?
Yes, I've known this promoter a long time. I raced this series back, but when Robert Patterson actually
care.
Yeah, and he knows, he kind of understands the he knows me and he knows my child. He knows that
he don't know Jacob,
but he doesn't know Jacob, and I think that's what
he knows.
I think that's what it came to. Jacob?
He's been around the block. I mean, he's been in the motorsport for a long time.
Yeah, and he knows like with Jacob or whatever. He sees Trevor ride in practice and he would say, oh, wait a minute, we understand why you registered. But as far as they've never said anything to me, I did have one dad come up to me at the fair and was like, the little fair race, and was like, why are you letting him ride a 50 in the 65 class? And I was like, I didn't, you don't want to sit there and tell another dad that like, my child is more advanced than yours because this is our main sport. This is what we do 300 days out of the year. We're focused on something motocross. And that's just, I need the faster kids to, and if like I said, my kid is 7 years old. Trevor will be 8 in 3 months.
Yeah,
we can ride the 4 to 6 class still. And it's not fair. It's really not fair. So he lets us go ahead and bump up and ride. Hey, and even if we weren't winning the 65 class, I would have him out there in it, like, because he need, and Trevor's the same way. He needed that, if Rip come up there, he would have to ride. I mean, he might be borderline 85 rider at that point. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just it's a beginner series. It's not necessarily
how many people, how many entries they draw that type of race.
So in that 65 class, 8 people pulled off the gate and 5 are still sitting on the gate.
Yeah, and that's typical for every class. It pulls decent amount of riders. It's just
you think about like
all 5 state.
You talking about like what, maybe 150 entries? 100?
It's a good warrior race.
Well, yeah. Warriors they've broke the 300 and 400 mark before.
An average warrior.
Average, yeah. They were a buck 30, buck 50.
Yeah, I would say 150 is kind of the benchmark.
It's basically an average warrior track.
Yeah.
I've seen videos of these fair races, not just in Tennessee, but other states. And where he went was not.
It's not a fair race. It's a.
Well, I'm out of the loop then. What race were you at, Jacob?
Center Point Final.
Where's that at?
It was in Tullahoma, Tennessee.
No. It was in Leoma, Tennessee.
Leoma, Tennessee.
10 minutes up the road for me, and it's a hybrid track. It's similar to what Warrior was, Rocket City. It's a hybrid, got more jumps, not a lot. It doesn't get rough. They got 4-wheelers on it. You know how that is.
Southern Supercross is in Cleveland, Alabama, people. Chad Ward.
No.
Compound.
This is Southern Supercross series that was around before Chad Ward even touched the dirt bike. No. This has been around. Robert Patterson, Jacob's dad, before he passed away, he was running the series years ago.
Okay.
And that was kind of that's where I got my feet wet. That's where I raced. I started racing. That's how that was our every weekend thing, unless we went to Alabama to race with you guys for the most part. But it's a smaller series, beginner series.
Well, real quick before we end this, Jacob.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to use some of this from Colton Ray earlier. He called in. He actually had a couple of good questions, and I liked them so much. I want to ask you 2 questions. What track in the state of Alabama that is closed would you bring back?
Steel.
That's what Chandler Mountain.
Yep.
Yeah, I said that earlier too.
I bring back and corner. Got a moochie.
God dang, you guys in this corner.
I swear I didn't set this up. Everybody has said that. I swear I didn't set that up. I promise.
Corner. Now I've been knocked out many a time. Corner.
We can tell.
Jesse Aaron, you remember on Randy Jackson? I'm breaking the sprinkler.
I'm about to tell the story real quick. Listen. This guy that he lives local here in Alabama. He used to build my bikes. He built some for Jacob, Jonathan Dove. Anyways, great mechanic. Always had unique bikes. He had, I don't know the exact year, like 87.
1989.
89 Honda CR500. Pristine. I'm talking about motor fresh, ground up, pristine bike. We had rain the night before the race. So Saturday morning, the track was extremely wet, a little sloppy. And my dad gave out, during the riders meeting, he's like, hey, all the A, B class, y'all's first 2 laps, I'm going to give y'all extra laps. First 2 laps, I just need y'all cruising around, taking it easy. All right, cool. Jacob Caps shows up on this pristine CR500. First lap, wide open, slide, he legit like a ski, just skied and slid down the hill off into the ditch and snapped Dad's sprinkler in half and flooded flooded the ditch and everything. Delayed the race for 45 minutes.
Never forget. But the thing about that was right after where I come down the hill right there, you made a left and went down this other little hill. And then, baby, you got to be on it to hit that 100. How big was that?
It was 122 feet from face to landing.
And we hit it every lap, but it was like.
But you didn't have, like, you had a little downhill run at it, but the sand was so deep.
I was about to do it in the mud on the first lap. I was headed.
Go figure. The Jacob Caps.
Have mercy.
Right there. I don't care. If I could go back to those days and change a couple of things, life would be amazing right now. But man,
you might have hair.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I just fresh shaped this thing for the beach, baby. I'm headed there in the morning.
Oh God, carry the sunblock.
All right. Well, one last question. We're gonna end it after this. Who was your biggest rival or rivals growing up racing, Jacob?
I know this one.
Drew Askew. Like, I only beat that sucker twice in my life.
Okay. That's not a rival. That's not a rival, bro.
We're talking about who are you battling back and forth with?
Dove.
Yeah, I'll give you that. Yeah.
Dove.
I'll give you that.
It wasn't Timmy Castrone. It wasn't Jonathan West. Just Dove.
Yeah, y'all are similar ages, aren't
No,
you?
I'm sitting here thinking, Jacob, because y'all raced each other on super minis and big bikes, and I know you were in and out a lot throughout the years, but I really can't think of anybody else that consistently that you raced and gave a headache to other than Jonathan.
It's Jonathan. Yeah.
I think you were pretty spot on with that, because I was sitting here thinking, I can't think of any, like I said, I can't think of anybody else that you were consistently having some type of battle or something with. I'll give you that one. That's, yeah. Which Jonathan, I would like to say he was a rival to me too, but I've only beat him a handful of times in my life, but which we were always in different age groups and different classes. But
if I had to go, I mean, if we went back and we looked at, I guarantee you it's close to 50-50 with me and Dove. I mean, we was always there, especially in arena cross.
Yeah, especially arena cross.
Especially in
one of my biggest rivals that I forgot to mention earlier was Stick Melton. Me and him battled a ton in C class and A class. I mean, a ton.
Yeah. Stick was fast back in the day.
He was.
You were fast back in the day. Like, I never looked at just one as being somebody that I had to beat. All right, you want to get on another conversation? We'll talk about it. Motocross then, when we raced, it wasn't, hey, let's cater to the kids. Let's do this. Let's do that. We raced the tracks that everybody else raced.
Yeah. Times are different, man, and I hate to say it. I don't think it's ever going to be the same.
It's never going to be the same.
You gotta figure out how to adapt with what today offers and roll with it.
But I will say this before we sign off. If you want your kid to be fast, don't say, hey, I'm not going to run this whole track. Or don't say, hey, I need my kid to cut the track here. Or hey, you need to break. You need to tame this track down. No, learn to ride that track. Once your child learns to ride that track, they're going to be at that next level.
Agree. Because
back when we raced, Alabama had some fast ass people. Excuse my language.
No, you good. You're not wrong either. I mean,
I'm gonna throw this out there, and I we've had this conversation before. There's a comparable to everyone back in the day except for Clark. Yeah,
Styles?
just see it. Huh?
Clark Styles?
Yeah, Clark was the pendulum, is the bar. But everybody underneath that, everybody wants to say this, that.
It broke that.
No, Heath didn't have as much success as Clark did. Nobody from the state of Alabama has
But you
had.
got to think about the time.
Well, exactly though. If you want to talk about times, everything's changed.
2 home runs, he got the damn record now. Blah blah. He didn't beat Barry Bonds.
Well, that's not comparable, bro.
Well, no, we're just saying from the state of Alabama, Clark has been the most successful in the Supercross industry with multiple rides, television time.
I do agree with that.
Full-time living. Now Heath,
lowest national number ever.
Is he?
Yes, Clark is the lowest. When he got 34. 34 was the lowest anybody's ever got. Heath's lowest was 61.
Heath is faster, absolutely, but so are the rest of the guys. Just like when Clark was racing, Clark's speed matched the fastest guy's speed, just like Heath's speed matched the level he was riding at.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm just, and even Chad Ward, his speed matched. I mean, I watched him lead a couple of Supercross rounds, a couple of laps, but success-wise, yeah, Clark, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes,
that's a rant for another day. There, I've got a whole topic on that.
If they could have kept their head straight, there's 2 riders for sure. No, 3 riders for sure. Well, 4. You got John Boy Monk. You got Chad Ward. You got Drew Askey, which I honestly think brute speed out of anybody that has ever came out of Alabama is Drew Askey. When that guy was on,
Drew had
Drew beat Clark how many times?
Not as much as you think. I don't think. I ain't gonna say it never happened, but Drew has such a unique riding style. I'll give him that. He was extremely fast, but
he was super fast.
I don't know, man. I can't even talk about it because it's between him, Chad, and Clark back in that time period.
And John Boy.
John Boy was short-lived, though, unfortunately.
Yeah.
His talent was short-lived. And it wasn't nothing – he didn't do nothing wrong. It just – I just think he kind of – I think he's seen a lot at the end of the tunnel a lot quicker than everybody else maybe. I don't know, but –
yeah.
I don't know. That whole era was just such raw talent, and there was so much – like you said, there were so many of them at that time. But,
Well, you remember the Gravits?
Yes, Michael and David.
Yeah.
Dang, Jacob, you keep talking. Damn, Jacob gonna take over the podcast.
Michael went into freestyle for a while, and David, he was short-lived too. I mean, I think he left in like 03 or 04, but yeah, I remember them very well.
Yeah, David's a dang pharmacist now. It's crazy. Well, I don't want to take over this podcast.
I will say you're let me see. You beat Kolton. Yeah, you're our longest caller now.
Goodness gracious, imagine that. And hey, he actually kept his cool. I'll let you say one stupid thing. Come on. Come on. Give me something.
Jeez.
You gonna call Hunter Taylor out? Come on, give me something.
No, I didn't hear what you said.
I said you gonna call Hunter Taylor out or something? Give me something. You can say one stupid thing on here before we go.
Shane Jewell was slow.
Well, I'll race you tomorrow. Oh god.
I'm just kidding.
Get off here
right now.
Jacob.
I'm about to make a comeback, baby. We looking for motorcycles right now.
Oh God.
Oh god. You got a beer gut to lose first.
You in arena cross.
Jacob.
I ain't riding no arena. Good Lord.
We
All
appreciate
right,
it.
Jacob, get out of here.
No, thank y'all for having us. Thank you for acknowledging my kid. And let's make. Oh, hold on. I got one more thing.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Awards.
Oh, God. Here we go.
Hey, listen, before I called in, I called probably 9 people, and I said, I asked every single one of them, I said, what would make Alabama motocross better? 9 out of 9 people I called said, and they asked their kid. I had them ask their kid. It's the awards. So, Jesse, I know you know the prize.
Yeah, because I do them.
They're like, we want trophies.
Yep, you get them at the end of the year for the banquet.
Huh?
You get them at the end of the year for the banquet.
I got an idea on this, actually. I got an idea on this.
How much more is it to do trophies for races like we did back in the day versus
it's almost double the amount.
Huh?
It's double the amount. And look, here's what this is why I hope a lot of people listening to this, because it's not just the price. Mostly it is the price. It's the handling of trophies. It's the headache of the trophies, because we have to assemble them. We have to package them back up, load them up, carry them to the race, unpack them, give them out, have leftovers, bring them back. We have somewhere we got to store them somewhere. Well, trophies are just as bulky as anything else. So if you get, 15 to 30 trophies a race that aren't getting handed out, by the end of the season, I've got 50 plus trophies hanging around that what am I going to do with? I can resell them, but that's far and few between.
Hey, Jesse,
yeah.
I have a solution to this, and y'all can agree with me or disagree with me, but per race, here's my take on this whole award thing. Give the winner a trophy. Give the winner, only the winner, second and third, whatever you want to do, the rest of the way back, plaques.
I agree with that. Because it's going to push everybody to be better.
So then you don't get that wow factor at the end of the year for your banquet when you get that big trophy, because you've got multiple others.
Well,
hang on.
Talk about the end of the series, the end of the thing, because this is brought up to my attention too. All right, this is one thing that one person told me. At the end of the series, if you win multiple championships, you only get one jacket. Why don't he get a jacket for this class that he won, and this class that he won, and this class that he won?
Why do you need 3 jackets?
I don't know. That's what everybody wants.
Well, because everybody wants. See, I can't express how I want to express being under with. I hate to say, because
tell it
who we are.
Just tell it.
People are, and look. If you know the true definition of this word I'm about to use, then it should not offend you. If it offends you, then it fits you. People are ignorant. They don't understand and know what it takes, how much it takes, what all is entailed. Because that jacket, why do they want 3 jackets? I tell you why. Because we've had this happen. They want 3 jackets off that one kid, because they want one for their kid that raced, they want one for the mama, and they want one for the other child, brother, sister, whatever. How do I know this? Because we've had mamas in the past, because we've done multiple jackets before with 2 different sizes. One's a large and one's an extra small. Come on now.
No, it shouldn't be 2 different sizes. It should be one.
I'm just saying that's why one reason we got away from it, because as expensive as those jackets are, you get your name and every class you won on the same patch, on the same jacket.
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
That's how it's supposed to be. I mean, you don't get multiple. I mean, you get what? You get multiple number 1 plates for each class, multiple trophies for each class, an award for each class in the top 3, right? except for
Right.
you're not going to get. That's just like saying second place. If second place award is a goggle case and a kid got second in 3 classes, he needs 3 goggle cases. No, that's stupid.
I mean,
you could always change that up.
We do.
Though,
We change it
like,
every year. We try to do something
Yeah,
different
okay.
every year.
All right.
But
But my thing with like the end of the year award, like, you know how the end of the year award is a different style, like maybe it's a talk, like one of these or
Yeah.
whatever, or if it's, I'm just talking about individual race. One winner
So-
gets one big and that's only 25 class. I don't know how many class 20.
you know, one of the reasons why we started doing the cutouts that we've been doing the last X amount of years, because
Yeah.
people got tired of trophies every race. So then we went to plaques, the wooden ones with the plexiglass.
Well, I'm not saying cut that out.
No, I'm just
I'm
saying
not saying
people
cut that
got
out at
tired
all.
of that. So people got bored and got tired of that. So then we discovered the stencil cutout awards. Loved them. They've been the best ones in 20 years I've been racing or been around it. Now people are starting to get bored with them.
Well, I'm not saying get away from the plaque. Like here's if you're getting bored with it, tell your kid to go faster or go you're faster yourself where you can get that first place trophy. And then like second, third, you know how I am about the awards. I feel like top 3, nobody else, whatever you want to do. But first place trophy, boom, second place, third place, fourth, 20th place, whatever, a plaque or a cutout or whatever, just only the winner gets a trophy. And that eliminates our boys. We are on a different tangent here, but like that eliminates the oh, well, we didn't get a trophy. Well, tell little Johnny to get off his ass and to the front,
That's what I'm saying. They get trophies at the end of the year.
Well, that's a championship.
The ones that count.
while we're on this, and I'm about to change this whole subject, rules. Why can we not be on? Why can we not be on the same rule set for motocross as we are on arena cross? Why can't we not be on the same rule set as AMA? And then why can we not be on the same? Why can AMA not be on the same rule set and classes as, let's say, Spring-a-Ding, Loretta's, regionals? Like, so at regionals, you cannot jump on a yellow, but at Loretta's, you can jump on a yellow.
Because you're accommodating for different things, different environment, different racetracks, sizes, turnouts, entries, there's so many factors.
Yeah.
There's just so many factors that play in why the local track owner has his own set of rules versus AMA. Now, we do base off AMA, like we try to run off of AMA's rules throughout their book, but we have our own twist on things to accommodate for the way our series, for the type of riders and the type of environment our series is.
Yeah, we had this discussion.
Our arena cross is balls to the walls, run what you brung, and hope you brought them up. But you can't have a 60 kit in a 50 class.
You know the conversation we had last year about this.
Yes, sir.
I fought hard for it. I lost. That's all I can say about it. I disagree with it myself. I tried. I lost.
Yeah, we had that discussion last winter about all that stuff, and then
I was about the rules.
Hang on, Jacob.
Hold on.
Huh?
Hang on, Jacob.
We had, me and you and a couple others had this conversation last winter about this, and I remember you bringing up the point where we're supposed to tell somebody they can't race because they bring something they don't know about. So that, like a bike that they bought for a certain class that they didn't, and I agree with that in the arena cross aspect, because really and truly in arena cross, a 60 kit ain't gonna do you a ton of good anyway. I mean, it's so tight. I mean, I guess you could put a QT in and whatever that sort, but anyway, we'll save that for another day or something.
Look. We gotta kill this, Jacob.
Yes, sir.
We're gonna do more call-ins. This is probably gonna become our new original thing now. So you'll have plenty of opportunity.
Plenty more times.
So
That sounds good to me. Thank you guys for having me.
no problem. We appreciate you coming on.
Let's carry it on.
We will.
All right.
We'll see.
See you, bud.
See.
Whoo-wee, my God, Jacob. I'm still recording. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, Jacob with a nightcap. I knew that was going to be interesting.
I knew he was going to bring some good points up, though.
Yeah, for sure. I honestly thought he would be a little more.
Got it.
I thought he'd be a little bit more rogue than that, honestly. But
I think he was fixing to get to that point.
It's all good. But hey, so Travis Brazier, we'll hit you up. You won the free graphics kit from Dirt Lab Concepts. You know Trevor. We can get you. We're gonna give you a discount code that's gonna actually give you the free. Trevor's gonna hook us up with that. So we'll get with you with that. A lot of stuff we didn't actually get to since we did the calls tonight. We'll get into them later. Maybe next week's show. Maybe we can do something in. I like this format. I like it a little bit as long as we can keep the callers coming in. But anything you got to add before we sign out?
Just subscribe, like and follow Facebook, subscribe on YouTube. Also our Instagram, we've been getting daily followers on it, so appreciate that. And like I said in the beginning, our next step is something like Spotify and other platforms like that. Try to make it easier for you guys. And hopefully next week we'll have something to give away, maybe a special guest or,
we'll have
something. I kind of like how we've progressed into being able to have special guest callers now, first caller show. And I thought it went pretty well. Giveaways, that kind of thing. That's all I got.
All right, guys. We'll take you into this is the end of lap 6. We're going to take you into lap 7 next week. Hopefully we'll have some more news pop up over the week, and we'll see y'all next time.